Hey, y'all, it's Pastor Josh, and it's time for another midweek motivation. And I thought today would be a better day to do midweek motivation than Wednesday. I know some of y'all were looking for it yesterday, but I thought it'd be in the fourth would actually go better with the point I wanted to make, I guess. So this day is going to be kind of a bit of midweek motivation with also Thursday thoughts, which again, I said I'm not going to make a series of it, but I kind of like doing it sometimes. So I wanted to talk about acknowledging and attempting to understand other people's points of view. And I believe this would relieve so much of the stress and hardness that we deal with in life. We oftentimes dismiss others' points of view simply because they differ from our own, which leads just two people talking at each other rather than actually trying to understand each other and get along. And by simply taking the time to acknowledge other people's opinions are just as valid as ours, we can largely eliminate a lot of the strife between people. And you don't have to agree with people to have a cordial conversation. But in not even acknowledging a person's point of view, we reduce them to something less than what they actually are. Proverbs actually talks about this, about taking advice from people or listening to people. And one of the verses says, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. Basically, people who don't want to hear people who always think they know everything and always think they're the smartest person in the room. The Bible calls them a fool, but it says a wise person, a wise man listens to advice. They take time to understand what other people are saying. You don't have to agree with it. You don't even have to go with that advice. The Bible doesn't say you have to go with that advice. It just says they listen to that advice. And to be honest, in most cases, that refusal to acknowledge the point of view of another person is led by pride. We dismiss other people because we feel like we know more than them, or our experience in life overrides theirs. But what makes that the case other than the fact that we think we are more important? Take that pride away and understand that you don't know everything, that sometimes other people have a better view of the situation because they're coming from a different place. They might have lived someplace different where they understand things different. They may come from a different culture, which may make them understand things different. They may have grown up, read things that you haven't. And again, we go to Proverbs to talk about this, where it says, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. Being humble leads to wisdom because you acknowledge that you don't know everything. You take the time to listen to others. You take the time to view others' points of views, and in that, your point of view can change, or it can even strengthen the resolve you have or what you believe. And to understand, I think one of the best things with this is understanding that two opposing points don't have to cancel each other out. They can both be valid. So Frederick Douglass, he gave a speech on July 5th, 1852, entitled, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July?" And in the speech, he acknowledges that he understands why Americans would celebrate the 4th of July. He says it makes sense. He understands the history behind it and all that. But he also points out what this day looks like to African Americans who were still enslaved at that time, and how they cannot see this as a day of freedom. It seems off to them to celebrate the freedom of a country, freedom of America from British rule or from colonial rule, or however you want to determine it, while they're still slaves. I mean, you have one day, July 4th, but two different perspectives. Neither one cancels the other out, but it's just different people view them from different ways. And again, it's just pride to say that the way in which you view it completely cancels out the way another person views something. The way that you see something completely cancels out the way another person does. And again, it just leads to strife and conflict. And I understand that there are things that we can't just agree to disagree on. I fully understand that. But there are far more things that we stress out over that really just aren't that important if we're just being honest with it, and just let those things go. Learn to understand people better, and I promise, it'll be a lot less stressful on your life and a lot less stressful on your soul. With that being said, we're going to bring this to an end. Man, if you like this, if it touched your soul, if it touched your life or whatever, share it, like it, and all that stuff. I mean, like, I don't tell y'all to like it and share it because it feeds my ego, but it feeds into like this little algorithm thing that like Facebook and YouTube and all this stuff has, which will make it to where other people see it. The more people that like it, the more people will see it. And if you thought this touched your soul, share it and like it so it can touch other people's souls. With that being said, man, again, my name is Pastor Josh, pastor at Ketchum Memorial in Kingsport. If you're free on a Sunday, come visit us. If you're not, man, you can always follow us here on Facebook or on YouTube, and we post the sermons every week. So, man, y'all be blessed. Y'all have a happy 4th. Go eat, grill out, whatever you do. Y'all be blessed. All right, bye.